On July 1st, 2019, over 500,000 people in Hong Kong marched to demand freedom and the withdrawal of an extradition bill that the Chinese Communist regime imposed on them. In the early afternoon at about 1 p.m., a group of people broke into the city's legislative building by shattering glass doors with a metal pulley and poles. Strangely, while this was going on, Hong Kong police ate noodles next to the crime scene and did not intervene. After breaking the glass at about 3 p.m., the few violent protesters mysteriously disappeared. At 9 p.m., while the protest was still ongoing, the police suddenly left the legislative building. The protesters then entered. At midnight, the police announced that they would start clearing the building. And then 4 hours later, at 4 o'clock in the morning, Hong Kong's chief executive Carrie Lam held a press conference denouncing the break-in as a violent act that broke Hong Kong law. Hong Kong legislator Fernando Chong believes that it was a trap. He said the police intentionally let the protesters break into the building so that they could be seen as a violent group. Hello everyone, I'm Lei and welcome. I hope everyone has had a great weekend so far. By now you've heard what happened on January 6 in Washington, D.C. If you follow the mainstream media, you've heard that President Trump and his supporters caused the violence. If you don't trust the mainstream media, you probably have seen videos, pictures, and tweets about individuals associated with the ANTIFA believed to have staged the violence at the U.S. Capitol. What I want to tell you is this. What happened in Washington, D.C. looked very similar to what happened in Hong Kong in 2019. Just like the Hong Kong police who did nothing to stop the people breaking into the legislative building. The video on social media showed that D.C. police actually opened the gates at the U.S. Capitol to let the protesters in. Take a look.
Police are squabbling with protesters. Oh, there we go. And they just breached the Capitol again.
Similar to the mobsters in Hong Kong who were hired to dress up as protesters to cause violence, Antifa was suspected to have infiltrated the Trump rally on the 6th. We've heard Congressman Mo Brooks, who tweeted that he was told by a fellow congressman that the Capitol Hill police knew Antifa people would dress up as Trump supporters to cause trouble. This man published pictures he took showing police escorting busloads of Antifa people to D.C. Also take a look at this video. The guy in the video said that he was paid to protest.
And I'm making this video because I want to confess that I was paid
because he'd also told them to come and be wild. And I hope that's not too philosophical
to pretend to protest today. I can't say by who, but I will just say that it's a organized effort.
Another similarity is the victims. In both cases, the victims are the accused. The Hong Kong government accused the students of organizing the violence, but the students were seen leaving notes inside the legislative building to remind people not to vandalize public property. They even left reminders for protesters to leave money for any drinks they take from the refrigerator. Are there any violent rioters who are so civilized? Similarly, Trump supporters were accused of violence, yet they were seen on video trying to stop the violent people from breaking into the U.S. Capitol. I know it's very difficult for good people to imagine that violence could be staged to defame and bring down fellow Americans. Using staged violence to instigate public hatred is a common tactic the communists and totalitarian regimes use. The Chinese Communist regime has used it many times against its own people inside China, in Hong Kong, and now we see that unfolding in America. However, it cannot succeed in an open democratic society. In other words, this type of tactic cannot succeed in the presence of a free press and freedom of speech, because it would be easily exposed. In order for it to succeed, those who plan the stage violence must have full control of the media, and censorship must be practiced to the fullest extent. Only in this way can they manipulate public opinion. Didn't we just hear that Facebook banned the conservative walkaway campaign group after banning Donald Trump? Didn't Twitter just ban Michael Flynn and Sidney Powell? Michelle Obama said that Donald Trump should be permanently banned from social media, and a day later, we saw that happened. Twitter announced that it would permanently close down President Trump's account, and it did. That just tells me that what's taking place in our country is full-blown communism. Those who blindly embrace communist ideology have already been indoctrinated and brainwashed. They have let in the monster called communism that has the goal of taking everyone down, including those who let it in. What comes next is persecution, and it's already starting. Don't Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer want to impeach Trump, who's less than 2 weeks away from leaving the White House? So what's the point? It's hard to end this program today. My heart is heavy. I want to leave you with this quote from the best-selling Japanese writer. His name is Haruki Murakami. I hope his words send a reassuring and uplifting message to everyone. And this is what he said: if there's a hard, high wall and an egg that breaks against it, no matter how right the wall or how wrong the egg, I will stand on the side of the egg. Why? Because each of us is an egg, a unique soul enclosed in a fragile egg. Each of us is confronting a high wall. The high wall is the system which forces us to do the things we would not ordinarily see fit to do as individuals. We're all human beings, individuals, fragile eggs. We have no hope against the wall. It's too high, too dark, too cold. To fight the wall, we must join our souls together for warmth, for strength. We must not let the system control us, create who we are. It is we who created the system. Thank you for watching, and I hope you can share and like this program, and I would really appreciate it if you subscribe. Thank you.